We're just over a month away from Selection Sunday, and the madness has already begun. Annual powerhouses Duke, Virginia, Kentucky, and Gonzaga are among the top teams on the men's side, but there have been upsets and surprises from the opening tip. Joining me now are basketball experts Drew Gentry and David Flynt to discuss the biggest questions in college hoops. So David, we'll start with you. How good is Tennessee?
Tennessee is very good, don't get me wrong, but I feel like they are too inexperienced on this big of a stage to make a deep push in the NCAA tournament. If they get to the Sweet 16, I wouldn't be surprised one bit. But they have no real experience going Elite Eight or deeper. They have very good stats, 5 players in double figures, the top one almost averaging 20 a game, have had very convincing wins over almost all their conference opponents at this point on a ridiculous win streak of over 20 games. But their inexperience is going to come back to bite them in the tournament, and there's no real way around that.
I agree with that. I think they're a Final Four talent team. I think they'll get eliminated Sweet 16. They're going to get a 1 seed. The SEC, I like what Kentucky's showing out of that, but they're ranked right now. Tennessee's 8th in RPI, and they have 10 games inside the top 50, and their only losses to number 1 Kansas. But who is Kansas anymore?
Right.
And when you talk about their 20-player game in Grant Williams, he's almost averaging a double-double. He's got 7.3 rebounds on top of that. And then I like their one player, Admiral Schofield.
Yeah.
What a better name than anybody for Tennessee than an Admiral.
It's a great basketball name. Tennessee, 22-1, 18 straight wins and undefeated in the SEC. Very, very impressive. Drew, who is the sleeper Power 5 team on the men's side you're looking at?
I'm going to go with Clemson. I love how they've been playing late. They got 4-game winning streak going on. Sheldon Mitchell's played a great season so far, and Elijah Thomas is averaging almost 2 blocks a game, and he's their second leading scorer. I just like the way this team plays. They didn't do too well against the top-tier teams, but I think they're finally settled into that groove, and I thought they were going to be a top 3 team in the ACC coming into the season. I like this stride, and I think they're dangerous. They choked against NC State, but I think they have a chance to come back. And
ACC is tough.
The ACC is hard.
Clemson's certainly a great choice, but the SEC has been bonkers this year as well, and I think Ole Miss, who I saw today is projected right now as an 8 seed, certainly could change in the last couple weeks of the season, but I think they're an under-the-radar team that nobody's really watching out for just because the SEC has been so strange this year. Terrence Davis for Ole Miss has been tearing it up out there. I love the tenacity that this team plays with.
All right, so we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the women's side. UConn struggling a bit this year, 21-2. They are still number 4, though. Are we seeing the end of the Gino Auriemma-dominated era, David?
The problem for UConn is they have no competition in their conference. The American Conference is weak. Right now, UCF, Central Florida, is in 2nd place, has only 1 conference loss to UConn by over 30 points. When you have no competition in your conference, you have no setup for postseason tournaments. And that's not really the fault of anyone, it's just the luck of their draw.
I really think that we're not seeing the end of an era. I think they're still going to be there. They're competitive. Obviously, they're top 4. They've lost 2 games, but I really like that Louisville team this year. I think we can see the transition into a Louisville and UConn's still going to be relevant, and Notre Dame. I think that era is about to begin, where it's those top 4 teams continuous that we've been seeing kind of a shift towards of late. But I think that this UConn team is very dangerous, and I think they're like the Patriots of women's basketball. You can never truly count them out as long as they have their head coach.
Absolutely, and their only 2 losses were top 10 teams on the road. Are they still making like Elite 8, Final 4? What do we think?
Oh yeah, no question.
Yeah, no question. All right, there you have it. UConn Final 4, book it. But there goes our final buzzer. Up next, Andrew and I will discuss the most outrageous trade deadline moments in sports.